During Black History Month? Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Kevin Zwicker from Fast Count coming at you. And before I get into this video, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe. In the landscape that we are currently in when it comes to society, it is very important when you are in a public forum to choose your words wisely, choose how you're going to say them, and choose which words not to use. And there is no better example than what we got today from Kevin Nash on his Click This podcast. Kevin Nash, if you don't know, has his podcast and is pretty successful where he talks about stories from the old days and has commentary about the professional wrestling landscape that we are currently in, whether it's WWE or AEW, mainly WWE with the obvious connection to Triple H, right? And on today's episode, we saw him discussing Javon Evans. Javon Evans, the young OG, North Carolina's very own, a guy who has become very successful in a very short amount of time, who is obviously catching a lot of people's attention, right? And you see him and his co-host discussing Javon Evans, and you see Kevin Nash sit there, and in the beginning it sounds as if it was all good. He was putting him over, talking about how much of an incredible athlete he is and all the things that he's able to do, but then he went on to say that he is a little bit too Mr. Bojangles for him and that he'd like to see him be a little bit more urban. Now, those words, at least for me in the area that I have grown up with, are very coded words, right? First, urban. No, that is a word that is kind of gone with the wind. It is a terminology that I don't think that in this today's climate is personally acceptable. I know that using that word for, in a lot of different people, they hear that and they think, huh, that's a code word for something else, right? And Mr. Bojangles, if you're not familiar with Mr. Bojangles, and no, I am not discussing the fried chicken place. Mr. Bojangles is a character from the black and white days of film, an African American character who would tap dance, dance around all these different things, and at the time period was somebody who would be considered a trailblazer and now is somebody who is kind of condemned for what he represents, right? And when you say things like, I wish he was more urban, right? For me, it's like, what do you expect every single African American wrestler to be? New Jack? Yeah, this isn't a one size fit all type of thing, And looking at a whole bunch of different professional wrestlers that we have, right? Whether it's in the men's division or the women's division, we have multiple different personalities, multiple different packaging, and multiple different backgrounds for all these individuals. And you never really hear somebody saying, I wish, let's just pull a random wrestler, right? Kenny Omega. You never really hear him say, I wish he was this or I wish he was that. And for Kevin to use those words describing Javon Evans, it's just an obvious lack of poor judgment, right? And it's one of those things where it's like very disappointed because it's just like you can look at it and say, Kevin Nash is an older gentleman. I know that people from different generations that go a little bit farther back, certain words and certain terminologies is the norm for them. It is appropriate for them and for people of a younger generation who are able to look back on things and are able to really kind of course correct. They look at it and say, hey, it was cool when you guys said it, but now we've learned more and we realize it's not cool for you guys to say it. And for Kevin Nash, who is a guy who's one of the WWE flag bearers, somebody who, like I said earlier, that is very close with Triple H, and for WWE to be a company that has been scrutinized for who they have chose to associate with politically. And one of the things that I know that a lot of people have pointed out, the fact that they have not acknowledged Black History Month. I think they didn't even acknowledge it last year either. It's very disappointing. And there's nothing wrong with what Javon Evans is doing. I think Javon Evans is perfect the way he is, and he is showing everybody that he is a guy who has a very bright future, and the kids love the guy, man. The bouncy, all of that. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't think he needs to be more urban. I think that he is being able to carve out a successful path just the way he is. And it's disappointing that Kevin Nash was, choosing to use those words and terminologies. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you think that Kevin Nash was out of pocket with what he said? Do you think that people are going to blow this out of proportion? Uh, I personally think that there's no room for those type of comparisons, and I wish that Kevin Nash was able to use his words more carefully. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Please remember to hit that like button and subscribe. I am Kevin Zwicker. I'm out.